The date was June 3rd, 2020. The morning air had a sense of chaos that only this year could provide. I groggily pick up my phone and see a snap from a friend of mine. Opening it revealed a picture of a frantic boy with a simple caption: RTJ4 is the album of the year. How could I forget Run the Jewels' fourth album drop today? Run the Jewels are a hip-hop collective comprising of rapper and producer LP and rap legend Killer Mike. Their 7-year career has birthed some of the most stylistic rap songs in the past decade. Intrigued, I went to my home screen, opened Apple Music, got a text, responded, phone froze, reset it, went back to Apple Music, and then I turned on Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist. I mean, that had to be album of the year, right? Top to bottom, Alfredo was nearly flawless. In distress, I look at the cover to RTJ4. A pink background with golden hand symbols. It looks similar to RTJ3, I thought to myself. And then I went on with my day because the world was literally falling apart. A few days pass and I hop in the car to run some errands. A feeling of bravery washes over me and I finally feel ready to step into the unknown. I click on that bold cover I criticized a mere 48 hours prior and look at the opening track. Shaking from anticipation, I read the title out loud. Yankee and the Brave, Episode 4. Perplexed, I began to speculate. Where are the first 3 episodes? Why are all the letters lowercase? What do the New York Yankees have to do with anything? Jittering, I tap on the song with my thumb, and my life changes forever. Okay, so there's a slight chance my little anecdote didn't happen word for word, but I said all that to make a point. Much like the story I told, RTJ4 is a roller coaster with twists and turns from start to finish. Let's start with the production. Every single beat has something to appreciate here. Even if I don't personally like how an instrumental sounds, I always find small details or instruments in the background that make me appreciate the song. The skills being displayed here are just inhuman, and producer and rapper LP is showing here that he deserves to be in the conversation of best hip-hop producers. From the intense sax on A Few Words for the Firing Squad, to Pharrell transforming his own voice on the main melody of Just, spelled with a $, of course, each instrumental forms its own personality. And when I use the word form, I really mean it because every beat essentially morphs by the end of the track. Now, mind you, this is far from a new concept in music. Most songs you hear on the radio are guaranteed to tweak a chord progression or alter a bass line on a refrain or chorus towards the end of a song. While yes, some RTJ tracks hold this trope, a lot of the songs maintain a melody or drum line, but will transform literally everything else on the track, from the background instrumentals to percussion instruments to the types of samples used. Some tracks will blatantly switch beats to an entirely new production. To go even further, these transformations can happen more than once per song. I think I remember the song Walking in the Snow having 3 or 4 of these shifts in the 4-minute track. To be fair, past RTJ albums have done this too, but I don't think they've done it to the same caliber. I've been thinking hard on how to put this into words. This is kind of the best way I can describe it. A standard RTJ song is very reminiscent of a video game level. Now, this sounds complicated, but what I mean by that is very much like a video game, RTJ beats carry a common motif and then add layers throughout to keep the listener, or player in this scenario, engaged yet on their toes. To simplify this metaphor even more, let's compare RTJ's most popular song, Legend Has It, to video game's most recognizable icon, Mario, from Super Mario Bros. So the common motif on Legend Has It is the repeating robotic voice that acts as a main aspect of the beat. It's very catchy, I love that song a lot. So now to compare the common mechanics in a Mario game, no matter which one you play, generally, unless you're playing like Mario Kart or something, are jumping and defeating enemies. So the interlude and the beat change on Legend Has It is equivalent to an increase in enemies and maybe an introduction to power-ups in the Mario Bros level. So now take this overall concept and imagine the musical equivalent is the final boss level. So instead of fighting off small turtles, you're fighting Bowser in his different forms. This intensity is how to best describe the Run the Jewels 4 instrumentals when compared to their predecessors. What I'm getting at here basically is that the attention to detail and the sheer layers of sound on display results in RTJ4 having some of the best beats I think I've personally ever heard. Okay, so I think I made my point at least somewhat clear on how the production is unmatched. So let's talk about the lyrics. Yeah, once again, I have nothing to complain about. Personally, I've always considered RTJ's rapping to generally be more consistent than LP's production. I can think of a few instances of times where I've gone through past albums again and I hear a bar that went over my head before, or I listened to a story that I hadn't realized came together on a track. All I'm saying is there's a lot of depth in the lyrics of Run the Jewels songs, even if they are the standard Money Guns Hoes topics. Killer Mike and LP have amazing chemistry, and they're both pretty solid rappers. I always resonated with Killer Mike just a little more. With that being said, LP's verses on RTJ4 are easily on par with Killer Mike's, and honestly, LP can even outshine Killer Mike at times here. RTJ4 features the standard Money Guns Hoes topics, like I mentioned previously, but where Alfredo adds elegance to the topics, RTJ4 brings a sense of anarchy and rebellion. Almost if not every song on this album makes some sort of comment on politics, police brutality, America's government, so on and so on. And honestly, this commentary comes at a pretty significant time because America and the world as a whole are in chaos right now. I read an article about how Killer Mike called RTJ4 a soundtrack to progress, and that description totally makes sense. Protesters, whether on the front lines or online, are sick, tired, and angry of the oppression going on in our country. And RTJ4 taps into those emotions and that passion on a musical level. There's something almost primal about hearing Killer Mike spit about a standoff with police over that body-rattling bass on the intro track. LP flowing over those chants and ooh la la while rapping about destroying the system and adding fuel to the flame. It really hits hard in a time like this. I could actually imagine this album fitting comfortably in the universe of Into the Spider-Verse. Like, I could really picture Miles Morales hitting shuffle on Apple Music and then walking in the snow and Goonies vs. E.T. pops up next to Sunflower and Scared of the Dark. Both RTJ4 and the Spider-Verse soundtrack are very stylized and place a heavy emphasis on justice or the blurred line between good and evil. So with all that being said, RTJ4 is easily my personal best rap album of 2020, and for that reason, I gotta give it a solid A. RTJ4 really is an experience that is unforgettable. There's so many good things about it that we didn't even have time to talk about the features, the mixing, even the samples on here. This album took a good 4 years to come out, and this is clearly 4 years of time very well spent. It's funny how this is the second rap-producer pairing in the past few weeks, and both are just straight, heat. This small period in time really shows that collab albums can really work with some effort and synergy put in. I gotta go with a simple A here instead of a perfect A+, because while I can find something to appreciate in every song, I just didn't really enjoy every song fully. Some songs just feel a little too basic to be on this album, but maybe that's just me. Either way, thank you all for listening. Let us know what you thought of RTJ4 in the comments below or on our Instagram at A-list-playlist, all one word. I've been Alex. It's been real. Stay safe out there. Deuces, y'all.